author of Anti-Semitism in America, A Warning, Senator Chuck Schumer. Why was it so vital for you to write this book now?
Okay, thank you for asking. Look, I was born in 1950, and I grew up in what Jewish people call the Golden Medina, the golden age for Jews, not only in America, but in the world. Because first, we were all advancing, not just Jews, everybody. My family came from poverty and ended up in the middle class, so that was one thing. But second, the shadow of the Holocaust, the curtain of the Holocaust, Stephen, hung over America. And everyone saw the horror of it and what unabated, not fighting anti-Semitism would be. And so the world opened up for Jewish people. We used to be excluded from where we could live. We used to be excluded. You couldn't join this firm. You couldn't do this. You couldn't do that. All that went away, even the innuendo. So we had a great 50 years. Starting in when there's trouble, anti-Semitism always rears its ugly head. The Irish poet Conor Cruise O'Brien said, "Anti-Semitism is a light sleeper." So 2001 occurs, and then there's all these conspiracy theories. Oh, all the Jews were told to leave the towers. Cantor Fitzgerald. Then we have the financial crisis of 2008. The international Jewish conspiracy caused it. But still, anti-Semitism the pot was not boiling until October 7th.
We were shocked into our consciousness on this in Charlottesville before that, in 2017. So I'd push that back about 7 years.
It was, but after the 7th, it just got seriously worse. People who wore yarmulkes were punched. They'd throw rocks through the windows of a Jewish bakery, nothing to do with Israel, a Jewish bakery. The Brooklyn Museum is near my house. I'm a proud Brooklynite, as you know. And the president was Jewish, but had nothing to do with Israel. They smeared her house with red paint. So I felt, I'm the highest ranking Jewish elected official in America ever, and now also, and I felt I had to speak out. So I gave speeches on the floor of the Senate about it, but I felt I had to write this book because it is a warning, it shows the history, and I think if every American read this book, or many Americans read this book, the danger of anti-Semitism would decline.
Who in public office would you most like to give this book to?
Donald Trump has done some very bad things in this score. He's not an anti-Semite, but he trucks in it, like you said, Charlottesville. But he wouldn't read it. So,
would you like to give this to Elon Musk?
I don't think Elon Musk would read it either.
Wow.
And again, Elon Musk, he did that salute. Some people debate, was it a Nazi salute? Was it not a Nazi salute? But you know what he didn't do, whether it was or not? When people said it was like a Nazi salute, the right thing to do is say, I would never do a Nazi salute. I abhor the Nazis. And he was silent and just let it happen.
I know, and I really think that's such an incredible quote. Anti-Semitism is a light sleeper.
Yeah.
So even though anti-Semitism has been in the Western world for thousands of years, are you surprised by how virulently and how powerfully it's come back recently?
Yes. Until recently, Jewish Americans would say it can't happen here, meaning America. Mm-hmm. It's not that we think it will happen here. The roots of democracy in America, praise God, are deep, and we have to fight to keep them, as I mentioned. But the possibility that maybe it might is in people's minds for the first time. And there's so much ignorance. That's one of the reasons I wrote this book. Of young people, 20% think the Holocaust was a fake, a hoax, that, not a hoax, but they don't believe it. They said it never happened. And another 50% don't know about it. I wrote this book aimed at a lot of different audiences. One, my generation of Jewish people, so they don't feel so alone and isolated. I can share my feelings with them. Second, to their children, so they will learn about it. The children of most Jewish people are pro-Jewish, pro-Israel, but they don't know the deep, long history. Third, I aimed it at non-Jewish people who are friendly to Jewish people and all that, but sometimes they ask themselves, why are they making such a big deal? Maybe this isn't such a big deal, but we Jews carry 5,000 years on our history. And when anti-Semitism rears its ugly head and you don't fight it, it gets worse and worse. I wrote it to both the left and the right, And then I aimed it at young people everywhere. I hope every school and every college will make this book part of the curriculum, because the best antidote against anti-Semitism is for people to just get knowledge of who we are, what we're all about, and all of that, and then they won't be anti-Semitic, or at least we hope.
Former Columbia graduate student Mahmoud Khalil was arrested and is currently being detained for pro-Palestinian activism on campus. How can we oppose anti-Semitic speech and at the same time make sure that we're still protecting free speech, even free speech you may not like?
Look, if Mahmoud Khalil was simply just protesting and exercising his right to free speech, and they haven't filed any evidence that he's committed a crime, he should be freed, plain and simple. And let me just say this. You can criticize Israel, and that's not at all anti-Semitic. I've criticized Israel. I've gotten some flack for it because I didn't believe Netanyahu was prosecuting the war in exactly the right way. But when it steps over the line and starts leading to real action and bigotry, that's where you got to be careful, and that's why I wrote the book.
Senator, thanks for being here. His book, Anti-Semitism in America, is available now. Senator Chuck Schumer, everybody. We'll be right back with comedian Michelle Buteau.